And so for 27, we're using the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula was given to you above. One of these things that, we, in a sense, should memorize, but, I don't know. A lot of times students kind of memorize it for a test and then forget about it. So there are like little like YouTube songs. I ain't gonna sing you like Pop Goes the Weasel with quadratic formula, but there are all kind of things like that that you could watch. So the first thing we want to do before we can use the quadratic formula is make sure we have standard form equal to 0. Right, so in question A, we do. So then we just figured out what our coefficients of each variable are. So anything before my x squared, that's my value of a. So in this case, a is 1. Anything that's before my b, so my x is equal to b. So in this case, b is positive 4. And anything that doesn't have an x, anything that's a constant, that's going to be my value of c. So c is 2. The quadratic formula, and again, like I've said a bunch of times in this video already, what we want to do is write formulas out. So our quadratic formula, I would write this down every single time that I'm going to use it until I have this thing perfectly memorized. All right, so here's quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Once you have this, it now just becomes a plug things in question. So we just found that our value of b was 4. So I'm going to get negative 4 plus or minus 4 squared. My value of a was equal to 1. So every place I have a 1, I'm going, whoops, I forgot to put b's. So we probably need the b's in here. So 4, 4. And every place that I have a c, I can plug in a 2. There's 2 down here that I was missing. All right, so this is going to be our quadratic formula. Now we need to do some simplifying. Negative times 4 is negative 4, plus or minus. So I'm going to get a 16 here, minus 4 times 2, so minus 8, all divided by 2 times 1, which is 2. So let's simplify this again. Negative 4 plus or minus 16 minus 8 is 8, all over 2. Right, and then we could do a little bit of simplifying with this 8. So a couple of questions ago, right, I kind of did a simplifying radicals question. We want to think what's the biggest perfect square that goes into 8? It's going to be 4. 4 times 2 gives me 8. So we can think about this as negative 4 plus or minus 2 square root of 2, all divided by 2. Now we can go one step further because this 2 goes into both the 4 and that 2 outside. So negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. We still got our plus or minus. 2 divided by 2 gives us 1. So this would be our solution here in exact negative 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 2 rather. No 2 in front of that thing. All right, so this one we'll do a little bit quicker. So we have our standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. A is 2, b is negative 3, and c is negative 4. So when I throw these things into the quadratic formula, I'm going to get negative 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 3 squared minus 4 times the value of a, which was 1. Whoa, 2 to 2, which our value of a was 2, and our value of c, which was negative 4. Right, so these are what our solution is going to be. Let's do some simplifying. So we're going to get negative 3 plus or minus negative 3 squared is going to be 9. Minus 4 times negative 4, so that's negative 8 times negative 4. That's going to be plus 32 all over 4. So negative 3 plus or minus 41 over 4. 41 is kind of nice, right? Because are there any perfect squares that go into 41? Nope. So this is going to be as simplified as it gets. Negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 41 over 4. Or sometimes you write this as negative 3 over 4 plus or minus radical 41 over 4. This is a little bit more common of a way to do it. As you go a little bit further in math, kind of recognizing in that form will help you because it'll let you see things like axis of symmetry and discriminants. Those are just words right now.